Alright, I finally did it. To be very clear, this is not my first official show. This is just a quick little mock draft I put together before Thursday's draft. The quality isn't fantastic on this, but it's my first crack at it, and I'm having fun. That's all that matters. But let's go ahead and get started, huh? Let's cue the music. Wait. Okay, so with the first pick in my mock draft, and this is going to be a shocker, the Jacksonville Jaguars select. Hang on. Trevor Lawrence, quarterback, Clemson. Not much to say here. This has been the pick for many, many months. Trevor Lawrence is a baller. He's going to be a franchise quarterback, and we'll just leave it at that. Moving on to pick number 2, I had the New York Jets selecting Zach Wilson, quarterback, BYU. Again, not much to say there. This has been expected for a while. They traded Sam Darnold, so they're putting their trust in Zach Wilson. We'll see how that goes. And with pick number 3, I have the San Francisco 49ers, and this is really where the draft starts, to be completely clear. As of recording right now, the Niners are deciding between Mac Jones and Trey Lance. So, I believe they're going to go with Mac Jones, quarterback, Alabama. Now, to make my stance clear, I do not believe this is the right move. No offense to Mac Jones, I have him as my 5th-ranked quarterback in this draft. I think he's more of a late first-round, early second-round type of guy. But the Niners apparently love him, and they think he's the future. Looks like he's going to sit behind Jimmy G for a little bit here. If he's not traded tomorrow night, we'll find out. But moving on to pick number 4, the Atlanta Falcons select Kyle Pitts, tight end, Florida. Kyle Pitts is the highest-ranked non-quarterback in this draft. I absolutely love him. I wish he would follow my Cowboys at 10. Absolutely not going to happen, and for good reason. Kyle Pitts might be the highest recruited tight end prospect in NFL history, perhaps. And it's warranted. He is, I think, a better version of Darren Waller, and Darren Waller's a Pro Bowler. I think you can plug this guy in any offense, and he's going to ball out. Now, a lot of people might be saying, why wouldn't the Falcons draft a quarterback like Justin Fields, Trey Lance? Matt Ryan is 36. I get it. But they're dead set on keeping the status quo for now, and they want to add to that offense. Kyle Pitts is a great fit. Moving on to pick number 5, I have the Cincinnati Bengals selecting Penei Sewell, offensive tackle, Oregon. Cincinnati, they can go a couple different ways here. I know Jamar Chase is getting mocked here quite a bit because of the LSU connection with Joe Burrow, and it doesn't hurt to add a receiver. But at the same time, we all saw what just happened to Joe Burrow last year. He got seriously hurt. The Bengals need to upgrade that offensive line, and why not start with the best offensive lineman in this draft? Moving on to pick number 6, I have the Miami Dolphins selecting Jamar Chase, wide receiver, LSU. The Miami Dolphins acquired this pick in that Laramie Tunsil trade with Houston from a couple of years ago, and oh boy, that was certainly something. Jamar Chase I have as the number 1 ranked receiver in this draft. It's a very close race between him, Devontae Smith, Jalen Waddle. I'm going to give Jamar Chase the slight edge here, and I believe that's going to be Miami's pick. You add him with Will Fuller, Devontae Parker, Mike Gesicki. I think it's a great fit. Moving on to pick number 7, the Detroit Lions select Devontae Smith, wide receiver, Alabama. Again, the Lions can go a number of different ways here themselves. They could use some help on the defense, maybe even an offensive lineman. But they have no receivers, and they just acquired Jared Goff. As of right now, if I'm not mistaken, his top 2 wide receivers are Tyrell Williams and Brashad Perryman. That's not going to get the job done. TJ Hawkinson, great tight end, but you need more than that. I think Devontae Smith should be the pick here. Moving on to pick number 8, the Carolina Panthers. I have them selecting Rashawn Slater, offensive tackle, Northwestern. Carolina, for me, this is a 50-50 toss-up. I was trying to decide between Rashawn Slater and Patrick Surtain, At the end of the day, I believe they're going to go with Sean Slater. They just acquired Sam Darnold, and I just want to make this very clear as well. That was an absolute steal. I'm a big Sam Darnold guy, and, you know, to be honest, I'm biased. I'm a USC Trojans fan. But at the end of the day, the guy can play. He just did not have good luck over in New York, and I think the Jets gave up on him way too easily. But you got to protect your assets, so here we go. Rashawn Slater, second best offensive lineman in the draft, Northwestern. Moving on to pick number 9, Denver Broncos. I have them selecting Trey Lance, quarterback, North Dakota State. So today, the Broncos actually just traded for Teddy Bridgewater. But Teddy Bridgewater, no offense to him, is not a franchise quarterback. He's a stopgap quarterback. I think Trey Lance would be a great franchise quarterback. John Elway's been looking for one since Peyton Manning retired. He's from a smaller school in North Dakota State. Carson Wentz is also from there. He doesn't have a whole lot of tape, but if you look at his pro day, look at the little highlights he does have, the guy's a freaking baller, and I think it's a great pick, and I think the Broncos need to start looking towards the future. Justin Fields obviously is a thought here too, and I prefer Justin Fields a little bit over Trey Lance, but from what I know, I believe the Broncos prefer Lance. But we'll find out. These are all just opinions. I'm going to be wrong on about 80% of it, but we're just having some fun here. First video, you know. Moving on to pick number 10, and this is a very, very special one. My Dallas Cowboys. I have them selecting Patrick Surtain II, cornerback, Alabama. He's getting mocked here quite a bit. I'm very aware that another team might trade ahead of us for him. You know, Carolina, Detroit, Denver, they might forego the selections that I said. They might go with Surtain. I hope not. I absolutely love him. I think he's the best defensive player in this draft, let alone the best corner. I think he'd be a great fit for Dallas. Put him with his former teammate Trevon Diggs. I think it's a great fit. Another consideration here was Jaycee Horn from South Carolina. I like him quite a bit as well. But moving on to pick 11, the New York Giants. I have them selecting Micah Parsons, linebacker, Penn State. I'm a big fan of Micah Parsons as well. I think he's the second best defensive player in this draft, and the Giants need a little nastiness on that side of the ball. Other consideration was Jalen Waddle, but I don't think wide receiver is the biggest need for them in the first round. They could always get one round 2, round 3. This is a somewhat deep wide receiver class. They just added Kenny Golladay. They got Darius Slayton, Sterling Shepard. They added John Ross, who's been a bust up to this point, but he's got speed. That's something. So I have to go with Micah Parsons. Moving on to pick number 12, the team I hate the absolute most in the NFL, the Philadelphia Eagles. Jalen Waddle, wide receiver, Alabama. I think it's very, very possible that someone trades up ahead to draft Jalen Waddle. I'm not doing trades in this mock draft. It just gets too messy. Obviously, there's going to be trades. But I'm just going to stick with the status quo here, and I'm going to put Jalen Waddle in Philadelphia. The Eagles last year, they had a chance to draft Justin Jefferson. They went with Jalen Reagor. Jalen Reagor he's an alright receiver. I mean, he didn't get to play a whole lot his rookie year, but Justin Jefferson, what a freaking baller. The Eagles messed that one up pretty badly so far. But they have a chance to make up for it here of Jalen Waddle. Pick number 13, the Los Angeles Chargers. I had them selecting Elijah Vera Tucker, offensive tackle, USC. The Chargers, I believe, from what I've read, they have some interest in Jalen Waddle themselves. Don't be surprised if they end up trading up for them, going ahead of Philadelphia, maybe doing a trade with the Giants, maybe even the Cowboys. But let's say they stay put. I have them taking Vera Tucker here. The Chargers could use some help along the offensive line, protect that young quarterback, Justin Herbert, who had an amazing rookie year, by the way. And, you know, I'll be honest, I wasn't big on Justin Herbert last year, but he's proved me wrong so far, and I don't pray for anybody's downfall. I like seeing people succeed. Moving on to pick number 14, Minnesota Vikings. I have them selecting Kwity Paye, defensive lineman, Michigan. Minnesota, they do have Danielle Hunter. If I'm not mistaken, not too long ago, he was a little frustrated with the situation. I believe he requested a trade. Obviously, as of right now, he's still with the Minnesota Vikings. If they lose him, great. Kwity Paye takes his spot. If they are able to keep him, put him on the other side of Danielle Hunter. That's a great 1-2 combo. Moving on to pick number 15, I have the New England Patriots selecting, and finally, Justin Fields, quarterback, Ohio State. Again, like I said, there's going to be trades. I fully expect New England to trade up at some point in this draft. I'm about 80% sure that will happen. To what point? Pick 10, 11, 12, 9, 8. I have no clue. And like I said, not going to try to predict it, but let's just say Justin Fields falls to 15. I think he's the pick for New England, and I think even if he's not there at 15, they will trade up for him. Justin Fields, I have as the third best quarterback in the draft. I have no idea why his draft stock has fallen. I absolutely love him. He reminds me of a lot of Dak Prescott, the Dallas Cowboys quarterback. And he's going to have a great mentor in Cam Newton. Justin Fields and Cam Newton actually do have a tiny bit of a relationship. There's this video circulating right now on social media back when Justin Fields was in high school. I guess Cam Newton was like a camp counselor, some kind of coach, whatever, for a bunch of high school quarterbacks. And Justin Fields is doing this video, and Cam Newton interrupts him, and he just goes, "This guy right here, he's going to be a stud in the NFL." And I believe he's going to be right, and they might be teammates as of tomorrow. We'll find out. Moving on to pick number 16, I have the Arizona Cardinals selecting Jaycee Horn, cornerback, South Carolina State. Arizona Cardinals, they just lost Patrick Peterson. It would not hurt to add another corner. Jaycee Horn, I have as the second-ranked corner in this draft. Reminds me a lot of Aqib Talib. I think he'd be a great fit next to Byron Murphy Jr. and Budda Baker. Moving on to pick number 17, the Las Vegas Raiders. I have them picking Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah. I absolutely love this guy. I think he's one of the top 10 prospects in this draft. He's a leader, hard hitter, hard working. He's from Notre Dame. They've had some good linebackers over the last 10, 15 years. And the Raiders desperately could use some nastiness on that defense ever since they lost Khalil Mack. I think this is an absolute steal if he does fall to 17. Moving on to pick number 18, I have the Miami Dolphins selecting Najee Harris, running back, Alabama. A lot of people are going to criticize this one because it's a little early to draft a running back, but screw it. I mean, the Dolphins, they need a running back. I don't think Myles Gaskin is the answer. You had Najee Harris, and, I had them picking Jamar Chase earlier. That's an offense. You got Tua Tagovailoa, Najee Harris, Devontae Parker, Will Fuller, Jamar Chase, Mike Gesicki. That's a scary offense in my opinion. That's a playoff team. Moving on to pick number 19, the Washington football team. I had them selecting Christian Darrisaw, offensive tackle, Virginia Tech. Washington, they traded Trent Williams last year to San Francisco. They could use some help along that offensive line, protect whoever their quarterback's going to be. As of right now, I want to say it's Ryan Fitzpatrick. Taylor Heineke wasn't half bad in that playoff game against Tampa Bay. I mean, that's always an option too. But they need some offensive line help. Christian Darrisaw would be a great pick. Moving on to pick number 20, the Chicago Bears. I have them selecting Zaven Collins, linebacker, Tulsa. Zaven Collins is another player I like quite a bit. I have him just a little bit under Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah, but not by a whole lot. I like Zaven Collins quite a bit. Chicago, they're known for having great linebackers. You go back to Mike Singletary, Brian Urlacher. They currently have Roquan Smith, who's a pretty good linebacker. Why not add to it? Moving on to pick number 21. I have the Indianapolis Colts selecting Jalen Phillips, defensive lineman, Miami. Jalen Phillips transferred over from UCLA. He did pretty well for Miami last season. The Colts can definitely use some help along that defensive line. Put him together with DeForest Buckner. Good fit. Moving on to pick number 22. The Tennessee Titans. I have them selecting Elijah Moore, wide receiver, Ole Miss. This is where it starts to get a little bit interesting, and it starts to get a little bit harder to predict once we get towards the end of the draft. Elijah Moore, the Titans just lost Corey Davis. They need a number 2 receiver. They got rid of Adam Humphries. Why not add an Ole Miss wide receiver? A.J. Brown, also from Ole Miss. I think it'd be a good fit. Moving on to pick number 23, the New York Jets. Their second pick in the first round, Travis Etienne, running back, Clemson. The Jets need a running back. Why not? I don't even know who the running back is at this current moment in time, to be completely honest. Travis Homer, Frank Gore, maybe? No clue. They need a running back. Travis Etienne. Good pick here. Moving on to pick number 24. Pittsburgh Steelers, I have selecting Tevin Jenkins, offensive tackle, Oklahoma State. The Steelers need some help along that offensive line. They lost Alejandro Villanueva, Marquise Pouncey just retired. Ben Roethlisberger is heading towards the end here. Need to protect the old man, Tevin Jenkins. Pick number 25, Jacksonville Jaguars, their second first-round pick. Trayvon Moehrig, sorry if I'm mispronouncing that, safety, TCU. The Jaguars can go all kinds of ways here. They can add another receiver. They can maybe do another running back. They can pick tight end, maybe Pat Fryer move. But I'm going to go with safety. Moehrig, however you pronounce it, is the best safety in this draft. The guy's a baller. I think it's a steal here at 25. Pick number 26, Cleveland Browns. This was a really hard one for me. I have no idea where they're going with this. But I'm going to go with Christian Barmore, defensive tackle at Alabama. His stock has been going up and down, up and down. I know there's some character concerns, but towards the end, the playoffs, national championship, the guy was balling out. The Browns just released Sheldon Richardson. I think it would make sense. Moving on to pick number 27, the Baltimore Ravens. I have them selecting Terrace Marshall Jr., wide receiver, LSU. Baltimore's going to select a receiver here no matter what. It just depends on who's going to be available at this point in time. I'm just taking a shot in the dark. I'm going to go with Terrace Marshall Jr., wide receiver, LSU. Moving on to pick number 28, the New Orleans Saints. I have them going with Greg Newsome II, cornerback, Northwestern. The Saints, there's a chance that maybe they go wild, draft a quarterback here. Davis Mills, Kyle Trask. I don't think so. I think Sean Payton's pretty set on going with Jameis Winston and Taysom Hill this year. They could use some help in the secondary to go along with Marshawn Lattimore. Why not Greg Newsome? Moving on to pick number 29. The Green Bay Packers, Kadarius Toney, wide receiver, Florida. I hope the Packers pick a wide receiver. Poor Aaron Rodgers needs some freaking help. I mean, Allen Lazard, Marquez Valdez-Scantling, they're okay. He needs a true number 2 receiver. You can't just throw it up to Devontae Adams all the time. I hope they draft a receiver, whether it's Kadarius Toney or someone else, Rashad Bateman, whoever's here. I hope so. We'll see. Moving on to pick number 30, the Buffalo Bills. I have selecting Jason Owa, defensive lineman, Penn State. The Bills need some help on the defensive line. The Bills are a pretty well-rounded team. I think they could probably just go with the best player available. I think he's a good fit, Jason Owa. Moving on to pick number 31, Baltimore Ravens, Alex Leatherwood, offensive tackle, Alabama. This might be a little soon for Leatherwood, but Baltimore just traded Orlando Brown to the Kansas City Chiefs. They got this pick. You got to replace him. Alex Leatherwood is a very solid offensive tackle, and he would be a good replacement for Orlando Brown. And with the final pick in my 2021 mock draft, my first ever, pick number 32, the defending Super Bowl champion Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And, people say I don't go spicy enough. I'm going to give you some spice right now. Ready for this? Pick number 32, Kyle Trask, quarterback, Florida. This is more of just a fun pick. I don't know if they'll actually do this, but Tom Brady's old. Let's just put it that way. He's 43 years old. I think he has at least, I'm going to say he has about 2 years left. 2 good years left in him. Why not draft the quarterback of the future, have him sit under Tom Brady, have him learn a little bit. And that will be it for my mock draft. Thank you so much for everybody that happens to be watching this, to the 5 of you that are watching, and let's be honest, there's only a few of us. I very much appreciate it. This is just the very beginning for me. I'm going to have an actual show coming out. We're going to be talking about many different subjects. I'm going to at some point do some draft grades for the first round. This is just my first little video. It's a little teaser, kind of to see what the future is going to be like. I made little mistakes here. The presentation doesn't look all that perfect. I'm still learning, it's going to be rough at first. This is a very, very rough edit, but I'm having fun, and that's the most important thing. It's going to get better, I promise. And the quality is going to be a lot better. I will be shooting on an actual video camera moving forward. Right now, I'm just using my laptop and using my microphone and my headset. It'll get better. Stay tuned. Thank you so much for watching. Everybody have a wonderful day.